Please remember, it's Michael Smith. So, take it over.
GENETO に働いています。これから GENETO について僕についてプレゼンテーションすいません始めます。Yeah, my name is Michael Smith. I come from South Africa. I studied, after I finished at the University of Victoria, my bachelor's in interior architecture. And I thought it a good idea to travel the world, well, at least outside of my country, to try and discover myself as a designer. My attraction to Japan was initially because it's really different from any other Western society. And then I was really attracted to the way that aesthetics permeates through every part of Japanese society, in personal relations as well as creation of objects, and how beauty is a really important function of those objects. I've had the pleasure of visiting Katsura Rikyu, and the whole focus of it is sort of the beauty of it and enjoying the beauty of the nature. But another thing that's really interesting about Japanese culture is the sort of techno-traditional aesthetic of it, the way that old ancient cultures coexist with very high-tech lifestyle. And I think this has sort of come about because of the cultural homogeneity of Japan, and that's very interesting for me as a South African, because we have over 11 different cultural groups in South Africa, and I really wanted to see what the effect on design and human psyche is of a monoculture. But unfortunately in South Africa, despite the cultural diversity, a lot of people are still stuck in old ways of thinking, and sort of bad understanding of art in some ways. And so that's why I really wanted to travel outside of my country to sort of find out who I am. But yeah, perhaps that's just my thinking, because I don't really have much of an identity from my culture being so culturally different. But then I found GENETO on GENETO.com. I saw their DG house design, and I really liked it. Not only is it visually beautiful, but also I really like the thinking behind the design, the concepts that were there, which is a very important part of GENETO's design. This is KD house. It's currently under construction. The existing house was very modular. So the spaces are inappropriate for the Japanese lifestyle. So our design intersects these spaces and creates spaces based on human proportion, and designed specifically for that kind of function. And the new spaces bring a new kind of privacy to the house that wasn't there before, because the windows are really large and the neighbors are really close. But then the whiteness of the walls still allows the natural sunlight to enter the spaces. And as an example of GENETO's, the thoroughness of GENETO's design thinking, this was one of my first projects there, was to build a kitchen model of KD house, just so we could decide the position of the kitchen panel, represented by that chipboard. This is Ivy Building. It's a proposed design for a mixed-use complex in Tokyo. We wanted to create a commercial building that didn't alienate itself from society, from the public. So what happens is we've taken the stairway, wrapped it around the exterior of the building. The stairway houses a public gallery, which encourages public access all the way to the top of the building. And then the whole building is covered in ivy, live ivy that gives the building the presence of a large tree, something you'd want to come and sit under the shade of, rather than a sort of cold, clinical glass and steel building. This project is an expansion of a traditional restaurant in a more rural area in Kyoto. With the design, we wanted to modernize it in a way, but without losing the traditional aspects of the restaurant. The restaurant has sort of a special place in the minds of the people there. And so we wanted to have still have the traditional Japanese exclusivity of the restaurant, but still we kind of open it out as the permeated steel mesh on the exterior allows sort of a visual connection between the restaurant and the community. This is our latest project. It's in Arashiyama. We're converting this house into a place where tourists can come and dress up as Maiko or samurai. We started by documenting the building, measuring it up, and I got to know Japanese wood construction quite intimately. I'm used to brick and concrete construction in South Africa. And then we continued to document the rest of the city, the population density of locals and foreigners, and also but different building use and different styles of architecture. Because through this design, we want to respond to the very the tension that exists between modern architecture and traditional architecture in Arashiyama. Yet still build something that's attractive to foreign tourists. And this is some early experimentations, just working with pattern design, which is really important in Japanese traditions. Trying to find something that'll work architecturally as the pattern also is present in the design of kimono, the kimono textile. I just want to extend my thanks to Nakakoji and Yamashita Asako for having me at their office. These are just a few things I'd like to do before I leave Japan. See Fuji-san and ride the Shinkansen.